Hey. Hey guys, it's me Barb, and I'm here today with a quick video on housing and decorating in Palia, and this is going to go over some of the basics to get you started off right. You'll want to go along when you start the game and do your normal quests, and eventually you will unlock a housing plot. Now mine is a little bit upgraded. Some of it's quite empty still because I'm working on getting items to fill it out with. But when you get your housing plot, you will then be able to go in and decorate here, and you can place different buildings. You can place different items. You can place crafting and processing machines. You can garden. You can do a lot of things with your housing plot. So pretty early on, you will get a quest called House Sweet House, and it will have you basically build your home. Once you complete that quest, you can then also go to City Hall to upgrade your housing plot out here, and you can also add additions and rooms to the house and other delightful upgrades. Now this is going to go over the basics, so we're not going to go into the room upgrades. I also don't have any room upgrades yet because I'm still a noob and I've only got 1900 coins left, and yeah, I gotta go grinding. So without further ado, let's press the H button. If you go into the H button, you can see your plot. Now, in here, you have all of these expansions that you can do. So if we click here, it says unlock expansion, no writs available. Writs can be purchased at City Hall. So a writ of expansion allows you to unlock one of these squares. Now, when I first got my plot, I didn't have this row unlocked, and I didn't have these two rows unlocked, and I didn't have these two rows unlocked. So I have used quite a few writs of expansion, and I just use this space to push my house back and then put a little bit of trees in the front, move my garden around, and make a crafting area. So I do highly recommend when you get your initial tent, I know it's kind of silly, but maybe place a couple items to decorate with just to make it feel homey, whatever you can. I'm now using that for some storage chests, and you can get more tents, but the main thing we're looking for here is the house, because we're going to be able to do a lot of cool decorating in there, and you can also decorate in the yard. Now you can see up here you do have a building limit. My building limit is currently 1 of 15, and it says use writs to increase your build limit up to 15, and then it says over here our number of writs. So when you're in this page, you have a little guide down here in the bottom left. Select, remove, rotate, and WASD to pan camera. Now, currently we are in the beta, open beta, and if you are watching this later, it might actually be out on Switch in the future, but this video is made when this was only available on PC, so the controls I'll be going over are for PC. So let's hop out of this main screen, because what you'll primarily use this for is moving things from an overhead view, and I'm not wanting to do that right now. So I'm just going to right click to deselect the item, but anything you want to move from an overhead view, and you can zoom in and out and you can see the grid. So let's go into the house. When you get your house, it starts out as one big room, and it comes quite empty. Now I've been working on decorating a little bit. It's not perfect yet. I'm working with what I have. But as you go, really don't worry if you have to mismatch and hodgepodge things together. One of the first things I did in here was I got this wallpaper, and if you press Control, you can go into your edit mode. If you press Z, you see these grid lines. You can take those away. With those grid lines taken away, items no longer snap to the grid lines. So I'll go ahead and show you. So I'm going to put them back, and let's pick an item to move. So this clock, if I move it with the grids, you can kind of see it's popping in place, right? Now let's press Z to remove the grids. Now it's moving smoothly. So you can get slightly more organic placement without the grids. So if that is something you like, feel free to press Z to remove the grids. Or if you like more rigid structure, put the grids back. And if you're moving an item and you decide you don't want to move it, right click to release it. It'll snap back to where it was. Now, for other items, like wallpaper. If you go over here, you can see G to remove wallpaper. If I remove wallpaper, it has this base white under here. Now, with it being the beta right now, if I remove wallpaper, for some reason it's not going back to my actual inventory bag, it's going to my storage chest. So I'm not going to remove wallpaper for right now, but you can individually place these. So let's say I had my wallpaper in my bag. I could place it on that wall, this wall. I could do all of the walls. I could choose whichever ones I want, or I could leave some blank like I did over here. And the same goes for your tile flooring. You can press G to remove it. I believe it's supposed to be putting it back in the bag, but it is putting it in my storage. And when we have additional rooms, we can put wallpaper and flooring in the additional rooms as well. Now, we have other controls that we can use in here. So let's take this chair, for example. I'm going to left click to move it. And if I wanted to, I could do G to pick it up. It is picking up my furniture and putting it in my bag. It's on slot 1. I'm going to press 1. That selects it. We're in control for edit. I can just move the mouse around like this if I want. And with the grids on, you can very clearly see where it's moving. So you can actually use the scroll wheel to turn left or right if you want to. Or you can use Q and E to rotate. I tend to prefer the scroll wheel. It feels a little bit smoother. And I tend to like to press Z to remove the grid lines. So you do still feel it click in place when the grid lines are removed when you're scrolling with scroll wheel, but it does move around more smoothly. You can see you can get like really up in there before this yellow line around it turns red. Red means you can't place it, something's in the way. Yellow means it's good. So we can tuck that in right there. Now, not only do you have all these cosmetic items that you can get through crafting, you also have cooking items. You will unlock these through doing your quests with Ref and leveling up cooking, and you will be able to build yourself a nice little kitchen. One of the things I like with Palia is, since we can place these items organically, we can really clutter up spaces, and I find that cluttering up spaces makes your space look more lived in. It makes it feel more homey. So I highly recommend when you're in here, so press Control again, that takes you out, press Control, it takes you back in. You can select and you can move these around, and I currently have grid lines off. I highly recommend, if you're going to go for that more cluttered look, to take grid lines off, because you can kind of get items really close to each other and make it look like it's natural instead of just mechanical. Everything's in a grid line, and various items cannot have things placed on them. So you cannot place items on top of your standard stove, your prep station. You can place them on these crates, but you cannot place them on actual wooden storage bins. This storage bin I placed at the edge of the bed. Lordy Lou, I can't speak today, because I want it to look like a hope chest, because it reminded me of the hope chest my mother had when I was growing up. When you're placing things on the wall, you can rotate them. Oh, we're grabbing a stuffed animal, my bad. So we're going to right click to undo. You can rotate them, but most of them are taller or longer and aren't going to be useful rotated. So we're going to put that one back, and let's grab, the stuffed animals really want to be rotated. Let's grab the clock. So you can rotate the clock, but this clock is supposed to be symbolic of the in-game time clock, so it's not very useful if you rotate it. But you can see, if you have a taller item like this on the wall, you aren't really going to be able to do that. But with the smaller items, you can rotate them, but some of them would just look really weird if you put them up there at an angle, like the Homestead Harvest Wreath. And when you are crafting, if you go through your list, I highly recommend, even if there's an item that you're not going to use, if it's cheap to make and you haven't crafted one yet, so you've crafted 0 of them in your playthrough of the game, if there's no check mark on the item, craft it. Because when you craft an item with no check mark next to it, it will unlock another crafting recipe for you, and you can get things like this dress form I got that I really, really like. I also recommend going fishing, so you can fish up chests with items in collecting them and going around searching the map for treasure chests because they are useful for decorating. Some of them used to be bugged, they are no longer, but these ones I really like because of their color and the little metal accents, and you can kind of stack them in different ways and use them as a makeshift shelf. Also, some items you can place other items on. So this paper lantern bug, he's my pet. I'm going to take control off of here so we can actually see him. And he is a gold star paper lantern bug, which means he can be placed. And I put him here on the shelf. So this is his little home at my home. Another thing I recommend with the decorating, especially when you're starting out with just the one room, is make use of the inner space of your room. So use dividers, build out towards the middle, bring a table out. If you have something you can use as a kitchen island, bring it out to the middle. Maybe make a corner island. Use your vertical space, go up on the walls. And along the rafters, I'm going to bring back control again. I'm going to press Z to bring back our grids. You can see here, you cannot place up in the rafters. We have no grids, right? So even if we press Z and we remove the grids, it's not like we're magically going to be able to place in the rafters. These places with the lines are where we can place items. So keep in mind when you're planning out your lighting, craft lighting in accordance with these rafters. And also adding lighting through things like lamps, the chandelier, the lanterns, it really does make the room look a lot brighter. Now, to get and craft lights, you are going to need glass, and then you're going to need light bulbs. So let's go over to our crafting area real quick. And we'll leave out of control. In the crafting area, craft glass. This is a hopper. Get one of these early if you like decorating, because without light bulbs, you cannot get any of those cute little lights and your room will be drab and dark. So you can see here, it takes 10 stone to make a glass pane. It takes 8 minutes, and then it takes 2 glass panes to make a glass bulb. That takes 20 minutes. So I kind of just keep these going when I have enough stone, but I did go on a crafting spree, so I am running out. But I highly recommend doing that. I highly recommend keeping your bars crafting, especially ceramic and copper, primarily for the things we can craft early game. And keeping your wood planks going, making sure you have fabric and leather, and then always craft away, right? Anything we can get, we want to get, and we want to build through this list. We want to unlock everything that we can for decorating. So one of the things I really like is this log cabin planter. It's really beautiful when it's placed. I believe I actually have 2 placed. I currently have one in here with my chest. In the tent, you can place items on the wall, so you can fully decorate these tents and deck them out just as you would a house, which I think is really cool. I'm going to make this one a storage room, but I'm also going to make the walls really cluttered and eclectic. You can place things outside, so don't neglect your outside space. And in addition, when you're chopping trees down, if you get seeds, so like acorns and I can't remember the 2 other varieties. I think we have the pine tree and the fir tree. When you get the seeds for those, plant them. And you can decorate your space by making it more natural and foresty if you'd like. So like these ones I placed to kind of lead me over to the garden. The other thing I highly recommend for outdoor decorating is do all you can with the crafting and unlock new recipes. I got this beautiful flower wheelbarrow and this little planter thing from there. Those are cosmetic, but they're still cute. And I also recommend, even though fence is not serving a true function, to place fencing with a little gate around your garden because it looks cute. Now, ignore the state of my garden. I am trying to harvest everything down and set everything down fresh so I can do a new design because I'm playing with the design to make maximum money from gardening. And I recommend also placing items for quirkiness and fun just to make it a little bit special for you. Like this is my deer. He is my scare deer. I like to think that he is quite rabid and he will bite people that try to steal my crops. So have fun with your decorating and make it you. If you want him to be your friendly little Bambi deer out in the woods, you know, you do you. But he's over here guarding the crops. Also, I like to use light outside to make it feel a little bit more special. I will probably change these from being, you know, torches with active fire to maybe something with bulbs when I have more. But again, I spent most of my materials. And when you are decorating, another thing to keep in mind is in the early game, you're going to need the 3rd level of pickaxe to take this stone down. Now, I do have the 3rd level of axe, so I can take these bigger trees down. So you can see there I can hit those. But when you are first expanding and making your plot bigger, don't worry about going so far because a lot of those bigger stones are going to block you from using the area. Maybe just use a few and then use your renown for other things, like working on your focus bonus and focus max quantity. So there are a lot of things you can use it for, and you will eventually want to upgrade all of your plots. And you can see there's quite a few, especially since I'd already done 6, 12. I've already done 15 plots, and this is where I'm at. So definitely decide how you want to proceed and if you need to unlock all that area initially, because I have a really big lawn. So I know that's a lot to take in, but decorating in this game is absolutely fun, especially because you can put things at angles, you can clutter, you can make your space look really lived in. Take advantage of being able to set things at angles. Take advantage of being able to set things on top of other things. Take advantage of being able to clutter. And I think you're really going to be able to make your place feel like home. So I had a fun time hanging out with you guys today, and I hope you have a wonderful day in Palia. And if you haven't, please do click like and subscribe for future videos, and feel free to add me in game as friends. Oftentimes I'm making videos or streaming, so I can't necessarily always play together in game, but more friends is always good in my book. So thanks again, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Until next time. Bye for now.